The true story of Audie Murphy, America's most decorated sea soldier. January 26, 1945, 2 p.m. Holtzwihr, France, the Colmar Pocket. First Lieutenant Audie Murphy is standing on top of a burning tank destroyer. The M10's ammunition could explode at any second. Flames are licking at his boots. Black smoke pours from the engine compartment below him. He doesn't move. In front of him, an entire company of German infantry is advancing across the snow. 250 men, 6 panzer tanks. They're 100 yards away and closing fast. Murphy's company has retreated to the tree line behind him. He's alone, exposed, standing on top of a burning vehicle that's become a target for every German weapon in the Vosges Mountains. His hands are wrapped around the .50 caliber machine gun mounted on the M10. The gun weighs 84 pounds. It fires 500 rounds per minute. Each bullet is the size of a man's finger. Murphy is 5 feet 5 inches tall, 112 pounds when he enlisted, maybe 125 now after 3 years of war. He looks like a teenager because he basically is one. He's 19 years old. The Germans are screaming at him to surrender. They're firing rifles, machine guns, mortars. The snow around Murphy explodes with impacts. Bullets ping off the tank destroyer's armor. Shrapnel tears through his legs. He doesn't move. He just keeps firing. What happens in the next 60 minutes will earn Audie Murphy the Medal of Honor. He'll kill or wound 50 German soldiers. He'll hold off an entire company by himself while standing on a vehicle that's literally on fire. And when they ask him later why he did it, he'll give the simplest answer imaginable. They were killing my friends. This is the story of a sharecropper's kid from Texas who became the most decorated American combat soldier of World War II. 241 confirmed kills. Every Combat Valor Award the U.S. Army can give. 3 years of continuous combat across North Africa, Sicily, Italy, and France. All because his mother died and he needed to feed his siblings. All because he was too small for the Army, too light for the Marines, too young for the war. All because nobody told him he couldn't. June 20th, 1925. Kingston, Texas. Hunt County, northeastern Texas. Audie Leon Murphy is born into a family that has nothing. His parents, Emmett and Josie Murphy, are sharecroppers. They work land they don't own, growing cotton for white landowners who take most of the profit. They live in a shack with a dirt floor. Audie is the 7th of 12 children. 12 mouths to feed, 12 bodies to clothe. On a sharecropper's income in 1920s Texas, that's not poverty. That's starvation with extra steps. His father drifts in and out of the family's life. Sometimes there, usually not. Eventually, he just leaves, disappears, doesn't come back. Josie Murphy is left alone with 12 children and no income. Audie grows up around Farmersville, Greenville, and Celeste, Texas. Small towns, farming towns, Depression-era rural Texas where jobs don't exist and food is scarce. He attends elementary school, but it's sporadic. Missing school to work is normal. Missing school because there's no food is normal. He's small for his age, thin, a loner. Friends describe him as moody, explosive-tempered. He has a trigger inside him that nobody understands, least of all Audie himself. 5th grade. That's where his formal education ends. He's maybe 10 years old. He drops out to pick cotton. $1 per day. In 2024, money, that's about $23. $1 per day to feed a family of 13. But Audie has a skill, a natural gift that will save his family and eventually save his life dozens of times. He can shoot. He gets his hands on a .22 caliber rifle. Where it comes from, Nobody knows. Borrowed, maybe stolen, maybe given to him. It doesn't matter. What matters is that Audie Murphy can hit squirrels at 50 yards, rabbits at 75, birds in flight. He hunts small game to feed his family. Squirrel stew, rabbit, possum when nothing else is available. The Murphy family survives because a 10-year-old boy can shoot the eye out of a squirrel from distances that grown men can't match. Everything changes. His mother dies, endocarditis and pneumonia. She's gone, and there's no money for a proper funeral. Audie is 16 years old. His younger siblings are placed in Bowles Children's Home, a Christian orphanage in Quinlan. He later says about his mother, "She died when I was 16. She had the most beautiful hair I've ever seen. It reached almost to the floor. She rarely talked and always seemed to be searching for something. What it was, I don't know. We didn't discuss our feelings, but when she passed away, she took something of me with her. It seems I've been searching for it ever since." After she dies, Audie works at a radio repair shop, then a combination general store, garage, and gas station in Greenville. He's 16 years old, trying to support what's left of his family, and the world is about to explode. December 7th, 1941. Pearl Harbor. December 1941. Audie Murphy walks into a U.S. Army recruiting station. He's 16 years old, but he lies and says he's 18. He wants to enlist. He wants to fight. He wants to kill Japanese soldiers for what they did at Pearl Harbor. The recruiting sergeant looks at him. 5 feet 5 inches tall, 112 pounds, baby face. This kid looks 14. "Sorry, son, you're underweight. Come back when you put on some pounds." Murphy tries the Navy. Same answer. Too small. He tries the Marines. The Marine Corps is famous for taking anyone tough enough to survive boot camp. They look at Murphy and laugh him out of the recruiting office. Too small, too light, too young. For 6 months, Murphy tries to enlist. 6 months of rejection. Every branch of the military turns him down. He's too small to fight. That's what they tell him. Too small to die for his country. June 30th, 1942. Murphy's older sister provides an affidavit falsifying his birth date by 1 year. He's 17 now, but the paperwork says 18. He tries the army again. This time, they take him. Murphy ships to Camp Walters, Texas, for basic training, then Fort Meade, Maryland, for advanced infantry training. The other recruits tower over him. Most of them are farm boys, factory workers, men who've done physical labor their entire lives. Murphy is a 112-pound kid who picked cotton. The training is designed to break soldiers, running with full packs, obstacle courses, bayonet drills, live fire exercises. Murphy doesn't just survive it, he excels. On the rifle range, something remarkable happens. Murphy earns marksman badge with rifle component bar, and expert badge with bayonet component bar. That's not unusual. What's unusual is how he shoots. The range instructors have been training soldiers for years. They've seen thousands of men shoot. They've never seen anyone shoot like Audie Murphy. He doesn't just hit targets, he obliterates them. Perfect score after perfect score. At distances where other soldiers struggle to hit the target at all, Murphy is putting rounds through the bullseye. One instructor asks him where he learned to shoot. Murphy shrugs. Hunting squirrels back home. The instructor doesn't understand. Murphy explains, if you miss, your family doesn't eat. That's the difference. For Murphy, marksmanship isn't a skill, it's survival. He's been shooting to feed his family since he was 10 years old. His brain processes target acquisition and trigger control at an unconscious level. He sees, He shoots, he hits. It's automatic. The instructors mark him as exceptional. They don't know it yet, but they're training one of the deadliest soldiers in American military history. February 20th, 1943. Murphy ships to Casablanca, French Morocco. He's assigned to Company B, 1st Battalion, 15th Infantry Regiment, 3rd Infantry Division, the Rock of the Marne. Veterans of World War I, one of the most decorated divisions in the U.S. Army. Murphy is a private, bottom of the ladder, an 18-year-old replacement, joining a unit full of men who've already seen combat in North Africa. They look at this skinny kid from Texas and assume he'll be dead within a week. July 10th, 1943. Operation Husky, the Allied invasion of Sicily. The 3rd Infantry Division lands at Licata. Murphy is a division runner, carrying messages between command posts. It's relatively safe work. He's supposed to stay behind the front lines and deliver orders. He's not supposed to see combat yet. Murphy has other ideas. On a scouting patrol near Canicattì, Murphy spots 2 Italian officers fleeing. They're running away from the American advance, trying to escape to link up with German forces. Murphy doesn't ask permission, doesn't report to his commanding officer. He raises his M1 Garand rifle and shoots both officers dead. 2 shots, 2 kills. From a distance that makes the other soldiers stare. It's Murphy's first combat kill. He's 18 years old. He doesn't throw up, doesn't shake, doesn't have a breakdown. He just reports it like he's reporting the weather. 2 enemy officers neutralized. The other soldiers start paying attention to the skinny kid from Texas. July 20th. Company B arrives in Palermo. Murphy is sidelined with illness for a week. Dysentery probably. Sicily in summer. Contaminated water. Everyone gets sick. But as soon as he's able to stand, Murphy rejoins his unit. September 1943. Operation Avalanche, the mainland invasion of Italy at Salerno. The 3rd Infantry Division hits the beach at Battipaglia. German resistance is fierce. Machine gun nests, artillery. The Americans are taking heavy casualties trying to push inland. Murphy is on a scouting patrol along the Volturno River. 3 Americans. They're supposed to observe enemy positions and report back. Standard reconnaissance. They walk into a German ambush. Machine gun fire erupts from the tree line. 1 American soldier drops, dead before he hits the ground. The other 2 are Murphy and a private whose name isn't recorded in the official reports. Standard procedure. Retreat. Find cover. Call for support. That's what the training manuals say. Murphy and the other soldier charge the German position instead. They throw hand grenades and return fire with everything they have. 5 German soldiers die in less than 2 minutes. The ambush is over. Murphy and the private are still alive. The company commander hears about it and promotes Murphy to corporal. That's how you make rank in combat. You survive impossible situations and kill the enemy. October 1943. The assault on the Volturno line near Mignano Montelungo, Hill 193. Murphy's company is attacked by 7 German soldiers. Standard infantry tactics would involve falling back to a defensible position and calling for support. Murphy's company doesn't retreat. They kill 3 Germans and capture 4. Murphy is directly responsible for 2 of the kills and 1 of the captures. He's promoted to sergeant. December 13th, 1943. He's 18 years old, and he's a non-commissioned officer in charge of other men's lives. January 1944. Murphy is promoted to staff sergeant, but he immediately gets hit with malaria and is hospitalized in Naples. He misses the initial landing at Anzio. Anzio is a bloodbath. The Allies land on the Italian coast. 30 miles south of Rome, hoping to outflank German positions. Instead, they get pinned on the beach for 4 months. German artillery pounds the beachhead day and night. Casualties are catastrophic. Murphy returns to Anzio on January 29th. He participates in the First Battle of Cisterna, one of the worst Allied defeats in Italy. But Murphy's platoon fights through it, and he's promoted to platoon sergeant. March 2nd, 1944. Murphy and his platoon take shelter from the weather in an abandoned farmhouse. It's raining, cold, the kind of miserable weather that makes you want to stay inside and wait for better conditions. A German tank appears, grinding down the road toward their position. Murphy watches it approach. He has 2 options: hide and hope it passes, or engage. Murphy and his platoon kill the crew of the tank. Then Murphy does something insane. He crawls out of the farmhouse alone, getting close enough to destroy the tank with rifle grenades. Rifle grenades are small anti-tank weapons that attach to the barrel of a rifle. Effective range, about 100 yards maximum. Murphy gets close enough to guarantee a kill shot. Bronze Star with V device for valor. March 13th. Murphy is hospitalized again with malaria. Second bout, he's out for a week. The moment he can walk, he rejoins his company. May 8th. Murphy receives the Combat Infantryman Badge. Every man in Company B who's survived this long gets one. It's the badge that says, "I was there, I fought." Murphy wears it for the rest of his life. June 4th, 1944. American forces liberate Rome. Murphy and his platoon bivouac in the city throughout July. For 1 month, they're not getting shot at. It's the first break Murphy has had since landing in Sicily a year ago. He's 19 years old. He's been in continuous combat for 12 months. He's killed dozens of enemy soldiers. He's been wounded twice by shrapnel. He's had malaria twice, and he's just getting started. August 15th, 1944. Operation Dragoon. The Allied invasion of southern France. Murphy's platoon lands on Yellow Beach near Ramatuelle. They're making their way through a vineyard when German soldiers attack. Standard firefight. Both sides taking cover. Both sides shooting. A machine gun has been knocked off its mount. Murphy retrieves it, sets it up, and returns fire. 2 Germans killed, 1 wounded. Then something happens that changes Murphy forever. 2 German soldiers exit a house about 100 yards away. They appear to surrender, hands up, no weapons visible. Murphy's best friend moves forward to take them prisoner. The Germans shoot him dead. Murphy doesn't hesitate. He advances on the house alone under direct fire. Machine gun rounds are kicking up dirt around his feet. He doesn't slow down. He reaches the house. He goes inside. 6 Germans dead, 2 wounded, 11 prisoners. Murphy did it alone. Distinguished Service Cross. Second highest decoration for valor. 1 step below the Medal of Honor. August 27th to 28th. The offensive at Montélimar. Murphy's battalion secures the area from German forces. Presidential Unit citation for everyone involved. September 15th. Murphy takes shrapnel from a mortar shell blast in his heel. Purple Heart number 1. He's evacuated to a field hospital, treated, and returns to duty within days. October 2nd. Lomet Quarry in the Clury Valley. Murphy's company is assaulting a German machine gun position. Murphy kills 4 Germans and wounds 3 more. Silver Star. October 5th. Murphy crawls toward German positions at Lomet alone. He's carrying an SCR-536 radio, directing his men while the Germans fire directly at him. He does this for an hour. When his men finally take the hill, 15 Germans are dead and 35 are wounded. Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster for his Silver Star. October 14th. Murphy receives a battlefield commission to second lieutenant. He's 19 years old, and now he's an officer, platoon leader, directly responsible for 40 men. October 26th. En route to Bruvilleux, Murphy's platoon is attacked by a German sniper group. Murphy captures 2 snipers personally. Then he gets shot in the hip by a 3rd sniper. Most men would go down. Murphy returns fire and shoots the sniper between the eyes, while bleeding from a hip wound. He's evacuated to 3rd General Hospital at Aix-en-Provence. The doctors remove gangrene from the wound, which causes partial loss of his hip muscle. He's out of combat until January. Purple Heart, number 2. By this point, Murphy has been in combat for 18 months continuously. He's 19 years old. He's killed more enemy soldiers than most soldiers see in their entire military career. He's been wounded twice. He's contracted malaria twice. He's been promoted from private to second lieutenant. And he's about to do something that will make everything before this look like practice. January 14th, 1945. Murphy rejoins his platoon in the Colmar area. The Colmar pocket is 850 square miles of German-held territory in the Vosges Mountains. The Germans have been dug in since November 1944. They're not leaving without a fight. January 24th. The 3rd Infantry Division moves to the town of Holzwihr. The Germans immediately counterattack. Murphy is wounded in both legs. Shrapnel. He refuses evacuation. Purple Heart, number 3. January 26th. Murphy is made commander of Company B. He's a 19-year-old second lieutenant in command of an infantry company. The life expectancy of a company commander in combat is measured in days. 2 p.m. Company B is holding a position in the woods near Holzwihr. They're waiting for reinforcements. The Germans have other plans. German infantry and tanks launch a counterattack. Approximately 250 soldiers, 6 Panzer tanks. They're coming across open, snow-covered ground toward Murphy's position. The Americans are outnumbered 2-1. Murphy orders his company to withdraw to prepared positions in the tree line. Standard defensive tactics: fall back, use cover, create a killing field. Then a German shell scores a direct hit on an M10 tank destroyer positioned near Murphy's command post. The M10 explodes. The crew bails out. The vehicle is on fire. Murphy watches the Germans advance. They're 100 yards away. His company has retreated to the trees. He's standing near his command post with a field radio and an M1 carbine. He can fall back with his men, or he can do something insane. Audie Murphy climbs onto the burning M10 tank destroyer. The .50 caliber machine gun is still operational. It's mounted on a rotating turret. The ammunition hasn't cooked off yet, which means Murphy has maybe a few minutes before the entire vehicle explodes. He grabs the machine gun. He starts firing. The Germans see one American standing on a burning vehicle. They concentrate fire on him. Rifle rounds, machine gun bursts, mortar shells. The snow around the M10 erupts with impacts. Murphy doesn't move. He's calling artillery strikes on his field radio while operating the .50 caliber machine gun. He's doing 2 jobs simultaneously, either of which would be difficult under normal circumstances. He's doing them while standing on a burning tank that could explode at any second, while taking direct fire from an entire company of German infantry. The .50 caliber machine gun fires 500 rounds per minute. Murphy is experienced enough to fire in controlled bursts to avoid burning out the barrel. He's aiming, firing, shifting targets, firing again. German soldiers drop. The advance slows. Murphy is calling artillery coordinates into the radio. Fire for effect at grid coordinates Shells start landing in the German formation, but the Germans keep coming. They're too committed to retreat now. 30 minutes into the battle, Murphy takes a hit. A bullet or shrapnel fragment tears into his leg. Blood soaks through his pants. He doesn't stop firing. 45 minutes. More hits. Murphy's legs are shredded. He's bleeding badly enough that he should be losing consciousness. He's still firing. Still calling artillery strikes. 1 hour. The .50 caliber runs dry. Murphy has fired over 500 rounds. The Germans have stopped advancing. They're falling back. The survivors are retreating across the snow, leaving their dead behind. Murphy climbs down from the M10. His legs barely support his weight. He limps back to the tree line, where his company has been watching in disbelief. "Get ready to counterattack," Murphy says. His voice is calm, matter of fact, like he hasn't just held off an entire company by himself while standing on a burning vehicle. Company B counterattacks. They retake the ground the Germans tried to capture. The battle is over. Later, when they count the bodies, the estimate is 50 Germans killed or wounded directly by Murphy's machine gun fire. The artillery he called in killed dozens more. Murphy refuses evacuation until his men are secure. He insists on his wounds being treated while he remains with the company. Only after he's certain the position is safe does he allow himself to be taken to a field hospital. When the Medal of Honor recommendation reaches division headquarters, nobody questions it. What Murphy did at Holzwihr is beyond dispute. June 2, 1945. Near Salzburg, Austria. The war in Europe is over. Germany has surrendered. Lieutenant General A.M. Patch presents Murphy with the Medal of Honor and the Legion of Merit. A photographer captures the moment. Murphy stands at attention, his face expressionless, as the general pins the medals to his uniform. Someone asks Murphy later, "Why did you do it? Why did you climb on that tank destroyer?" Murphy's answer is immediate. "They were killing my friends. That's it. No grand speeches, no patriotic rhetoric. His friends were dying, and he decided to do something about it." That's Audie Murphy in one sentence. Let's count what Murphy earned during World War II. Medal of Honor. Highest decoration for Valor, Distinguished Service Cross. Second highest decoration for Valor. 2 Silver Stars with oak leaf clusters. Bronze Star with V device and oak leaf clusters. 3 Purple Hearts. Wounded 3 times. Presidential Unit Citation with oak leaf cluster. Good Conduct Medal. American Campaign Medal, European African Middle Eastern Campaign Medal with arrowhead device and 9 campaign stars, World War II, Victory Medal, Army of Occupation, Medal with Germany, Clasp, French Legion of Honor, Grade of Chevalier, French Croix de Guerre with Silver Star, French Croix de Guerre with Palm French Liberation Medal, French Fourragère, in colors of the Croix de Guerre, Belgian Croix de Guerre with 1940. Palm Murphy received every military combat award for valor available from the U.S. Army. France honored him with 5 separate decorations. Belgium gave him their highest military honor. He's credited with 241 confirmed enemy kills. 241. Over 3 years of combat across 2 theaters. From a skinny kid who was rejected by every branch of the military for being too small. Murphy is 20 years old when the war ends. He's been in combat for 3 years straight. He's killed more enemy soldiers than entire platoons. He's been wounded 3 times, contracted malaria twice, and received battlefield promotions from private to first lieutenant. And now he has to figure out what to do with the rest of his life. September 21st, 1945. Murphy is discharged from active duty with the rank of first lieutenant. He's transferred to the Officers Reserve Corps with a 50% disability classification. He returns to Texas, a celebrity, the most decorated soldier of World War II. Parades, banquets, speeches. Everyone wants to meet Audie Murphy. Everyone wants to shake the hand of the hero. Murphy hates it, because Audie Murphy isn't just a hero. He's a 20-year-old with what we now call post-traumatic stress disorder. In 1945, they call it battle fatigue or shell shock. The symptoms are the same, regardless of the name. Insomnia, nightmares, hypervigilance, explosive anger. Murphy sleeps with a loaded .45 pistol under his pillow. Every night. For years. He can't sleep without it, because his brain is convinced that German soldiers are coming through the window. The nightmares are constant. He dreams about his friends dying, about the men he killed, about standing on that burning tank destroyer while bullets tear through the air around him. He turns to sleeping pills, prescription sedatives. By the mid-1960s, he's addicted to Placidil, a powerful sedative. Murphy recognizes the addiction and locks himself alone in a hotel room for a week to break it. Cold turkey. No medical supervision. Just willpower and 7 days of hell. His first wife, Dixie Wanda Hendricks, later claims he held her at gunpoint during an argument. She describes him as guilt-ridden and tearful over newsreel footage of German war orphans. The man who killed 241 enemy soldiers can't watch footage of children without breaking down. Murphy finds a brief creative outlet in poetry. He writes, "The crosses grow on Anzio," a haunting poem about the men who died in Italy. It appears in his memoir, To Hell and Back, though he attributes it to a fictional character because he's too embarrassed to admit he wrote poetry. But here's what matters about Audie Murphy. He speaks out. In the 1960s and 1970s, when Korean War and Vietnam War veterans are returning with the same symptoms Murphy had, he goes public. He talks candidly about post-traumatic stress disorder. He calls on the government to extend healthcare benefits to war veterans. He demands increased consideration and study for the emotional impact of combat. In 1971, 5 months after Murphy's death, Congressman Olin Teague introduces legislation that leads to the creation of the Audie L. Murphy Memorial VA Hospital in San Antonio, Texas. It opens in 1973. Murphy spent the last years of his life speaking for veterans who couldn't speak for themselves. That's heroism too. Different from standing on a burning tank destroyer, but maybe more important. Murphy became an actor after the war. James Cagney saw his picture in Life magazine and brought him to Hollywood. Murphy made over 40 films. He played himself in To Hell and Back in 1955, which became Universal Studios' biggest hit until Jaws. But the movies were never what defined him. Murphy was always the soldier first, the actor second. He married Pamela Archer in 1951. 2 sons, Terry Michael and James Shannon. He bred quarter horses at ranches in California and Arizona. He invested in horse racing, often losing money he couldn't afford to lose. By 1968, Murphy was in financial trouble. He'd lost $260,000 in an Algerian oil deal. The IRS was investigating unpaid taxes. He refused offers to appear in alcohol and cigarette commercials because he didn't want to set a bad example for young people. May 28, 1971. Murphy boards a private twin-engine Aero Commander 680 in Atlanta, Georgia. He's flying to a business meeting in Martinsville, Virginia. The weather is terrible. Rain, clouds, fog, zero visibility. The pilot has 8,000 hours of flying time, but no instrument rating. That means he's not certified to fly in conditions where he can't see outside the aircraft. He flies anyway. 2 p.m., the Aero Commander crashes into Brush Mountain, 14 nautical miles northwest of Roanoke, Virginia. The aircraft hits the mountain at full speed, in zero visibility. Murphy and all 5 other people on board are killed instantly. They find the wreckage on May 31st. Audie Murphy is 45 years old. June 7, 1971. Arlington National Cemetery. Murphy is buried with military honors. Ambassador to the UN, George H.W. Bush, attends. Army Chief of Staff William Westmoreland attends. Veterans of the 3rd Infantry Division attend. Murphy's gravesite is in Section 46, headstone number 46-366-11, located across Memorial Drive from the amphitheater. His headstone is plain. No gold leaf, no special decorations, just a simple white marker like every other soldier at Arlington. Murphy requested it that way. He wanted to be remembered as a soldier, not as a celebrity. A special flagstone walkway was later constructed to accommodate the large number of people who visit Murphy's grave. It's the 2nd most visited gravesite at Arlington National Cemetery, after President John F. Kennedy's. Audie Murphy never wanted to be famous. He wanted to feed his family after his mother died. He wanted to serve his country after Pearl Harbor. He wanted to protect his friends when they were being killed. Everything else was consequence. The movies, the fame, the celebrity status. Murphy tolerated it, but never embraced it. When people asked him about the war, he gave short answers and changed the subject. When they asked about the Medal of Honor, he said he was just doing his job. But here's what Murphy did. He proved that heroism doesn't come from size or strength or advantages. Murphy was 5 feet 5 inches and 112 pounds when he enlisted. Every branch of the military rejected him initially. He was too small, too light, too young. 3 years later, he'd killed 241 enemy soldiers and earned every Combat Valor Award the U.S. Army could give him. He stood on a burning tank destroyer for an hour while an entire company of German soldiers tried to kill him. He did it because his friends were dying and someone needed to do something. That's courage. Not the absence of fear, not superhuman ability, just the decision to act when action is required. Murphy spent his last years speaking for veterans with PTSD, demanding that the government take care of the men who'd fought its wars, using his celebrity to shine a light on problems that everyone else wanted to ignore. He died at 45 in a plane crash. Too young, too sudden, too random for a man who'd survived 3 years of continuous combat. But Audie Murphy's legacy isn't the 241 kills, or the Medal of Honor, or the 40 films. His legacy is this. He showed that ordinary people can do extraordinary things when circumstances demand it. A sharecropper's son from Texas who couldn't afford to finish 5th grade became the most decorated American soldier of World War II. Not because he was special, not because he was gifted, because when his friends were dying, he decided to do something about it. That's all courage ever is. The decision to act when everyone else has stopped.